Somebody want to make a motion to accept the minutes with one correction in it? Okay, I'm sorry, roll call.
Okay. Makosi.
Here.
Kavinsky.
Here.
Daniil.
Here.
Peretti.
Here.
McIntyre here. Brous.
Here.
Longo.
Here. Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to accept the minutes?
I
Got
move
one
we
cor-
accept
there's-
the minutes.
There's one correction in it. It wasn't February 20, or March 22nd, it's March 8th. It's supposed to be in the file there, which is not a big deal.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
All opposed?
Aye.
March 8th, right?
March 8th. Make a motion, somebody want to make a motion to waive Robert's rules?
Make a motion, we read Robert rules. I don't know if you heard me.
I second it.
Now we're in a discussion. Okay. There's just something that I wanted to address from the last meeting. I'm sorry, just something I wanted to address at the last meeting. On March 22nd meeting, this board was accused of not being transparent because the planning committee decided it no longer wanted to pursue something. Supposedly did a polling of the board. This had nothing to do with the board, so everybody knows. I, for one, was never polled. But I've been on the planning, I'm sure the planning committee knew how everybody stood on it. That's probably why they didn't want to pursue it anymore. And my idea of transparency was when somebody doesn't want to give you information that you're entitled to, and just doesn't want to give it to you, plain and simple. That happened to me a couple of years ago, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But if people want transparency, as far as I'm concerned, I'm as transparent could be. You can come to me with anything. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. People have asked me questions. I'll continue to answer them the best I can. If I don't know the answer, I will go and find the answer, or I will head you in the direction to get the right answer. Okay? I got on this board to take care of everybody in this community. I don't play favorites. People know me, know that. Okay? I don't listen to rumors. That's all I want to say. You know, it's, thank you. Go ahead, we can move on. Gene, next. You got anything?
No.
I got a couple things, just quickly. All right, just for your information, tomorrow I'll be recertified again. We're going through the class again, even though I've been recertified 7 times. We're going to do it again, which is okay. And somebody brought to my attention, and I think it's a great idea, is that somehow on that pool gate, the gate must be closed at all times. Can we get a sign out there laminated that says gate closed at all times, or keep closed, or whatever the case may be? That's a thing, right? And one other thing is that somebody came to me the other day, again, I hate to dwell on it, but they brought it to my attention that there's the dog was a very nuisance to someone, okay, and she reported it to me. So I told her to report it to Chris. And in the next meeting, I don't know if, Chris, if we have to vote on this thing, we have a hearing decision. Do we have to vote on that to accept that hearing committee's decision on an issue with the dog, on a different issue for the records? I can bring it up to...
The board's never actually voted on it, but I think that you should at least have it in the minutes that the finding committee did meet with somebody and the
Okay,
fine was
so
upheld.
I'll bring it up at the workshop, or the regular meeting.
At the regular meeting, correct.
Okay, it doesn't have to be an agenda item?
No, you can do that
Okay.
as your committee report. You can give that, as long as we put it on the record.
Yeah, okay. Because unfortunately, it seems to be things are they're getting, I don't know, running out of hand or something, I don't know. But anyway, I told people the same thing. The people have the right to have that animal because it's an emotional support animal, but they still have to follow all the rules and regulations that we do have. And we don't want anybody to attack anybody, we don't want anybody to argue whether you should have it or shouldn't have it, but they all have documentation stating they do need it. Correct, Chris?
Correct.
Right. Okay, that's it.
Diane, go ahead, Diane.
Okay. I have a couple things that I wanted to talk about. The first being the grills, and I appreciate the ability to be able to come back and talk about the grills and present the findings that the planning board actually put together to begin with. For your comment, Ron, about transparency, I was never asked by the planning committee either to what my opinion was.
But that was a planning committee issue. It had nothing to do with the board.
It
Okay.
was a planning committee
Okay.
issue, yeah. But as the board member who presented it, I wanted to make sure
I
that.
understand that.
Okay.
And I agree with you there, but it wasn't a board issue. I just wanted to point that out. It's got nothing to do with this board.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I'd like to say. First off, we've had 90 new owners in the last year and 3 months. Of those 90, there's a high percentage of people being in their late 50s, early 60s, mid 70s. So we're really looking at a much different population than we were 5 years ago. And I think it's important for this board to keep that in mind when we make decisions. The second thing I'd like to say is that the reason I brought the grill issue to the board, or to the planning committee, was because people had asked me, why don't we have more grills, or could we have more grills? So as a board member, I felt it was my responsibility to do that, which is why I asked the planning committee to start to take a look at it. I did go to that planning meeting where it was discussed. It was initially not a real hot idea for people for all of the reasons that were identified. But as we worked through each of those issues, it became clear that maybe we could look at things a little differently. So my whole point is just to run through the points that the planning committee initially presented to the board. The first one being safety. Chris did research and talked to the fire department, and it was apparent that we needed to have fire extinguishers at each site where there's a grill. So we were going to put one on each side of the building. So that would be 2 fire extinguishers wherever the grills were going to be decided to be placed. Presently, we only have 1 fire extinguisher at each place, and it's not necessarily located outside where people might think about, okay, I bet there's the fire extinguisher if I need it. The one across the street is inside the yacht club. The second one is inside our kitchen here. The next one was maintenance, and we've talked about this maintenance for as long as I've been here, which is like 12 years now. And how awful it is that people leave the grill in a state that is not appropriate, or what we wouldn't do in our own homes. The planning committee, when they talked about it, clearly said they wanted to have identified people that would monitor the grills. In addition to that, 2 volunteers said that they would be responsible for cleaning it, 2 out of the 3. The usage was going to be similar to everything in this community. They're available for all residents. There would be a sign-up sheet for when you wanted to use it, similar to the golf sign-up. So there would be no conflict about who has it, who doesn't have it, or how long they used it. It would also be a tracking system for the cleanliness of the grill. Food was not going to be consumed at the site. You would be taking it home. So we wouldn't necessarily turn our patios into Party City. The location of the building, now Chris and Bob Stover, who is very involved in this, and unfortunately he's not able to be here to comment to these issues, looked all around the community to see what would be appropriate places, so that people who had concerns, we could address them. And so I've tried to remember and jot down some of the concerns. And one of them was very legitimate, not wanting to have the smell of smoke or cooking near their building. Understandable. we looked at different places. Most of the places that were identified, the grill was going to be at least 15 feet away from the buildings. So it wouldn't necessarily be a issue of, the smell of cooking. The second one was a very good one that was made by someone in the audience, that, here in Monterey, we're asked to pay for a lot of things, so why didn't we get asked to pay for the grills independently? I think that's a great, and I don't think it would be opposed by anybody who said they wanted to have the grills. The third thing was, okay, I guess that's it. I really just wanted there was one other comment. A comment about why is it fair for us to pay the use of gas when a number of people don't want to use it? Very fair question. In my research, I have a question back. Why are we paying for water for everybody who put in a second bathroom? And again, that's not a tit for tat, it's just putting the facts on the table. So I appreciate the ability to be able to voice this.
I probably should have asked, does anybody want to talk on anything that we're talking about? I mean, just raise your hand. Kathy?
Petition, give the to Ron, please. It's a petition against the grills.
Kathy, we also have, someone gave me a petition in regards for the drills. So again, we all understand that people have rights and interests. So
That's fine. I'll take them, but I mean, the petitions really don't make any difference to me as far as I'm concerned. I want to know what the people think that are going to be next to those grills. I don't care if somebody that's I don't care about somebody that's 5 buildings down. I care about the people that are next to them. Okay, I mean, the petitions are fine. We can take a look at them, but they mean nothing to me.
You gotta talk into the mic.
I'm sorry, every time I get next to it, I'm buzzing here. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Go ahead, Chris. Test. Okay. I don't know if, no, it's still the same thing. Okay. Good. Okay, what I said, I don't know if everybody heard me or not, but the petitions really don't make that much of a difference to me. I mean, you can have petitions for a lot of things. What I'm concerned about is the people it's going to affect, the buildings that they're going to be in between, the end units. Okay, that's where it's going to make the difference, where people are going to smell it, people are going to get the smoke. That's what I try to make my decision on, not people that are 5 buildings away that could come up here and use the grill. So, I mean, just so everybody knows, that's all. Petitions are fine, but so we gotta have. Go ahead.
It has nothing to do with the grills.
Oh, sorry. Woo! This is really loud, and I have it all the way down here. I probably don't need it. The dogs, I think this was answered once we talked before. Is there a restriction, or can there be a restriction on the size of the dogs or the amount of the dogs that you can have in one unit?
Nope.
Okay.
Fair Housing Act.
Chris, is it not my understanding that if we were to limit the size of the dog, we would have to become a pet-friendly community, which would then open the door to everything?
However,
Yes, it would.
however, if somebody still came in with a doctor's exemption, even if the dog was over the weight limit that we put into place, they still would be able to take the dog in. There's no way around it.
And I thought I heard they cannot have as many dogs as they want. We have a limit on the number of animals, don't we? I thought we did.
No, we don't. So here's the thing. If the doctor writes the note and it's checked out that this dog is for anxiety and this dog is for something else, that person can literally have 2 dogs. There's someone in here right now that has a cat and a dog. The cat was for one thing, the dog was for something else. We, of course, run this past the attorney. Absolutely nothing we can do. When you get into 3 or 4,
Yeah.
no. But however, if you have a husband and wife, and they both have medical exemptions, you could have 4 animals in one apartment. Each person could have 2. And now that that's out there, we just opened a can of worms.
Yep. I'm sure everybody knows anyway.
Erase that.
One of the things, and I brought this up last night, FHA allows both assistant animals and service dogs. A request to have an assistant animal, which can include a service animal, under the ADA definition. We can't refuse ADA anyway. Must be evaluated under reasonable accommodations standard. Assistant animals under the Section 501 of the Fair Housing Act. If you want to look it up, that's where it is. 504 of the Fair Housing Act.
So since we're on animals right now, I had a couple of owners come in and ask legitimate questions. It's things that we have discussed numerous times. One of them is, can we make them have liability insurance on their animal? And no, we are not allowed to. We cannot require an animal owner to carry liability insurance. Next one was, right now, we have done this in the past where we sent the animal rules out to everyone. We haven't done it in a while. Right now, only the people who actually have an animal get the animal rule. So it was asked, can we send the animal rules out to everyone so you all know if something is a violation? For instance, you're only supposed to be on a 6-foot leash. So if you see a dog that's on a retractable leash and it's 12 feet away, that's a violation. The next one was, we put this out. There are people in here that have allergy exemptions. The only way that works is because you guys have shared laundry rooms. Our attorney does not recommend advertising that and putting it out to the entire community. It's okay for us to talk about this and hear it on YouTube, but it is not something they recommend sending out to everyone. The last thing was, and it wasn't just for dogs, is, and this is something that I'm bringing to you guys, is to make up a complaint form. Like we have our work orders. How about we make up an actual form that could be left there with the work orders that would say, for instance, what the violation is. Okay, hanging a towel over the rail. Okay, what building was it? What unit? What date? What time?
Right.
Who is reporting the complaint? And that way, it's a simple form that anybody can fill out, drop in at the office, and then we check it, and if it's a true violation, we send an infraction letter to the person. So that's something, maybe the rules, you guys can come up with some kind of little
think it's a
form.
good
If you
idea.
think it's a good, this is just something that was brought to me yesterday by an owner, by 2
I
owners.
got one question. Okay. Can you reiterate that when somebody signs their name on a complaint, it's not relayed to the person that has the violation? Is that correct?
That is correct. We
So-
do not let the person know that got the violation who reported it. The only time that that would ever come is if we actually went to mediation with the state of Florida. That if it was something that was that big, that we had to go to mediation, that is the only time that the person who writes the infraction would ever, that's the only time that anyone else would ever know who it is. You are correct.
Back to that complaint list, I mean, it could be 700 different things. You're just saying to leave it at blank. What's your
Just leave
complaint?
it blank.
Okay, I
What is your
got you.
complaint? What is your infraction?
Oh, that was just an example.
That was
Okay.
just an example.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think that's a good idea, because then we'd have a tracking system for people who,
We really do not take many complaints verbally. If you're gonna put in a complaint, but you write it on a work order. So some people are like trying to write this whole thing on the work order. I think having a separate form just for
Yes.
complaints is a pretty good idea, actually.
Right. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, are there any new owners here? No, we've been here a while. So we know those grills, the pros and cons. The new people who are buying, it's gonna take them a year or two to say, oh yeah, we wanted the grills, but oh my gosh, we can't use them because they're not clean. This is not, I feel, with all this, what's next? Tiki bars, this is not going to hopefully won't turn into a resort. We're not a resort. We're here because we're older. And we want some peace and quiet. Yes, the younger people are coming. I agree, that's great. They have great ideas. However, it's going to take them, like Frank and I, a while until they see the lack of cleaning those grills. Hopefully, this will be the end of it, because I am tired of talking about it.
Go ahead.
We do eat on the grills down there. People cook down there, and they eat down there on the grills.
Well, the two grills that are in place obviously get used because the canopy, and people go down to the picnic tables and use it down there. There's nothing wrong with those grills. Are we gonna stop a rat problem? No, we aren't gonna stop a rat problem. They're gonna be around. But do we wanna spread them out throughout the property? That's what it comes down to, okay? Well, I mean, I understand everybody's opinion. I mean, I got my opinion, you got your opinion. The opinions are like, I won't go there. Everybody's got one. Go ahead. Well, you gotta have the mic.
You need the mic because I can't hear you on YouTube. That's
Yeah.
why we're having everybody use the mic.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but the last 3 days when I've been playing golf, it was on hole 1, then it was on hole 2, it's on hole 3. There are huge turds out there. They're on the greens in some cases. Yesterday, it was coming across from 3 to 4. And people are, I don't know if it's people with electrical carts, they're running through them. But I mean, these are not goose turds. These are big. We thought it was a bird the one day, remember, Beth? I don't know where it's coming from.
I mean,
I didn't write up a work order or anything.
the guys see stuff when they're riding around out there. I mean,
Okay, so I was sent a picture of it. It is not dog poop. Okay, we checked it. It is not dog poop. Have you seen the turds that these geese lay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not. It's wild animals. It's there. You know, we do have raccoons. We've got bobcats. We've got stray animals. It is not a dog from our community that is pooping on the golf course.
unless someone sees it.
Pick it up.
Okay, back to the complaint forms and infractions. Is there? It's on.
Hold it close to your
Just
mouth.
have it close.
I'm going to put it in my mouth. But back to the infractions. Are there a number of infractions you can have before you get kicked out of here, or is it endless?
One infraction and you got to go. That's it. That's Vic's new rule.
I should have been gone years ago.
No, it depends on what the severity, how often it happens, how many different infractions. It starts, the first thing, which we've done 2 of them already this year, fines. So you can get fined up to $1,000, up to $100 a day for 10 days. After that, it goes to the attorney. But to actually kick somebody out is extremely difficult. You basically would have to never leave your apartment and don't use the toilet.
So it really doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want.
No.
You're basically not going to get kicked out of here.
If that's what you actually got out of that answer,
We have rules and regulations here available to everyone in the office. You'd be surprised, a lot of people come in asking questions, and yet they received a copy of the rules and regulations when they came in. They just don't read them. But there's quite a number of letters that go out done by Chris, our manager, and also fines are involved. So we try, you know.
Were you talking about a specific thing? Were you talking about a specific thing? Just rules in general? If you keep getting fines, I would think it would matter, but I guess if you don't care about fines, you know.
just to clarify, when you send out a fine, you have already given the people a warning through a letter, correct?
On some instances, yes. On some instances, we can do it immediately, okay? For instance, any kind of pet violation, it's immediate fine, immediate. Depending on the severity of it is how much is charged.
I think at one meeting you had mentioned about, you sent out the first fine or something. I thought it was something to do with a car or something. Was I correct with that?
Carol, I don't know.
No, I just wondered, I mean,
I don't know which one it might have been. We've done so many over the years and so many infractions and things like that. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what I discussed at another meeting.
okay, no, I just
Yeah.
wondered.
No, I get
the
it. I mean, yeah.
clarification of getting a fine and not really being notified.
Okay,
And
so
getting-
the only time we do an immediate fine is a pet. The other ones, you get a warning letter. You might even get a second warning letter saying that the next one is going to have a fine. You get a fine, you can have a meeting in front of the hearing committee, the fining committee. They determine whether the fine stays or not. The next step, it goes to the attorney. Yeah.
I'm back on the grills. First of all, Diane, you mentioned it's going to be 15 feet from the buildings. We just measured our living room. It's 15 feet from one side to the other. That's not very far, because when people downstairs from the smoke, that smoke comes up and I smell it. I'm an inside unit, but I feel for the people on the first floor or on the end unit, they're going to have that smoke in their apartment. And unfortunately, if you want to put the grills far away from a building, in the corners of the complex, that would be okay, I guess, but not right outside somebody's window.
Okay,
Can you put an
all I need to say is that Chris and Bob Stober did a survey of the community, so they were the ones that identified the places. So I don't know, Chris, do you have anything
Yes,
else
the
to say?
15 feet came from the fire department. The 15 feet came from the fire department. It must be at least 15 feet away from a building. That's where the 15 feet came up with. That's the only way that came up with. No, but I understand that. We were just going on what the law was from the fire department.
It's actually 30 feet, 15 and 15,
The board.
right, Chris?
Yes.
It's actually 30 feet, 15 from one side, 15 from the other side, so you got 30 feet.
Two things. One thing Diane mentioned was the second bathroom. Well, it doesn't matter if you have one bathroom, two bathrooms, or three bathrooms. If you have one or two people in the apartment, they're going to use the same amount of water. So that one I don't think makes any difference. Secondly, is my understanding that the planning committee has tabled this subject. We have went around the block 1,000 times with it. I don't think any of the board members that I know of wanted, if it was voted on today, I think we would turn it down. I think we should shelve this discussion. It's been talked about too much, and I'm tired of hearing about it myself.
I want to put it on the agenda anyway. Let the board vote on it, because it's only fair that it should be put on there and voted on.
I want to defend the planning committee a little, because I was there. I mean, at that meeting, there were 4 board members, and we were asked what was our opinion. We spoke up, and I think they took that and said they would table it and not vote on moving it to the board. They didn't say that, because I would have said the board has to approve, because the final decision is always the board. But I just wanted to defend the planning committee somehow.
Okay, so this will be added to the agenda.
I want to put it on the agenda.
Okay, and to you, maybe the bathroom analogy was not the best. However, there are numerous people here that do not play golf, but they still have to pay for the maintenance of the golf course, okay? It's the same thing. I mean,
Apples and oranges. Anybody?
I have a question regarding the complaint form. Will that go to the, a vote on the board?
yes,
Yes,
that's why I'm bringing it
It
here.
is going on the agenda.
Correct.
Thank you.
Well,
Good
if
idea.
you guys can come up with it by the next meeting.
Which we can.
Do you want me to put something together? Or did you say you can?
No, I mean, I'm planning to have a Rules and Regulation Committee meeting before the end of April, because people are going home in May.
Right.
But actually, to develop the form and have it approved is probably not going to be a reasonable thing. We could put it on the agenda for our first meeting next season.
Right.
Yeah, be pushing it. You can start
And
working
plus,
on it. but-
a lot of people are starting to go home too, so
Yeah.
it may not be that big a deal.
Right,
We've done it like this for 51 years.
yeah. Another.
4 more months will hurt us.
Won't hurt us, yeah.
One of the things I wanted to say, we have rules and regulations in here for a reason, to try to keep this community looking nice, keeping it up. I understand when people go in and they get interviewed, they know this is a pet-free community. Regardless, they choose to bring animals in here. I know a lot of people get upset about the animals. I'm an animal lover, but you want to know something? I moved in here knowing it's a pet-free community.
That's right.
And there's no reason why somebody should bring an animal in here, but they can skirt the system because of the Fair Housing Act. That's the reason the dogs are in here. If it wasn't for the Fair Housing Act, the dogs would not be in here. It's not our fault, it's nobody's fault but the Fair Housing Act. Go ahead, we're here. Wait, hang on a second, wait for the mic, because they can't hear you on YouTube if you don't have the mic.
I just wanted to put something positive in there. I love dogs as well, and I work quite a bit in the little park
Yep.
just over here, and I just wanted to, so there's something positive in there too, is we have never found any excrement in that
Oh.
park, and we're digging and raking and all of those things. That the responsible people are the ones that are picking it up, and the ones that you might see more are the ones that are giving their pets exercise. But I know a long time ago when I first came, there was a lady that had a little dog, and it went in her basket until she went out to the road and gave it a walk. And I don't know how I guess we could just say to people, you know, there's a dog park. I go up to the dog park just to look at dogs, and it's accessible through the gate right there on Canner. It's a 15-minute walk.
Yeah, I understand that. Yep.
Somebody I spoke to didn't know about the dog park.
Many of the people come in here because it's a pet-free community. And, you know, I mean, and that's one of the reasons people come into communities like this, because it's pet-free. But there's nothing that we can do about it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it works both ways. Everybody's got their rights, but I mean, you know. Anybody else? Want to keep moving?
It was brought up at the last meeting about combining the landscape committee and the beautification committee.
Correct.
And that would be something that discussed now, and then if you guys decide, we put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay.
So this was Pam's idea.
Right, because when we did the ride-around, it was, the landscape committee consists of Peggy O'Keefe as chairperson, myself, Caroline Inger, and Chris. And I know that the worker bees are basically the beautification committee and Peggy and Carol. And I just don't see a need for the two separate committees because it all falls under landscape.
Lorraine, you want to talk about it?
Well, I tend to agree. We don't need two committees because it does fall under landscape. It's all about the landscape.
I mean, is everybody on board with that here, or?
Well, I know one thing is that the beautification committee, they consisted of about 10 or 15 guys that worked their butt off. Pardon me?
That's right.
15 guys and 1 lady.
Well,
2 ladies, sorry. 3 ladies, Bernie.
Don't leave the women out.
Well, what I could see one,
People,
two,
we have
3,
15 people.
Including Peggy.
I could see 5 right
Yeah.
in here that were active in the beautification thing. Those
Include-
guys, no offense, I think they're getting a little older, so.
You got Peggy
they
O'Keefe
didn't,
that's out there every day
Peggy
picking
and
it
her,
up.
the other one, they're out there 24/7, I think, and we appreciate that, Peggy. You and I told your sister and those, they appreciate that. But I don't know, I don't have combined them, I don't think that, but anybody that's on a beautification committee that wants to go on a landscape committee should be able to get on that landscape committee.
Definitely.
Correct?
Definitely. We
Because I
would
know the
still
rest-
have, we
Right.
still would need, we still have the
Need all the
need for the
help.
volunteers.
Yeah, as long as you're not just disbanding
No,
the
we
beautification
are
committee
not.
and get rid of them.
No, we're not, we're combining the two.
Yeah.
It would be a combination of the two so that we still have, and we'll get as many volunteers as we can. And but it's just a renaming.
Yeah, that's not big.
and just calling it, because it's my understanding that it was in past, it had been just the landscape committee, and then there was, it was called beautification because there was a contingency that could not work together. They didn't work and play well together. And so that was when beautification was formed. So if we just put it under landscape, I don't see a problem with having that,
I mean,
as
it's
many
gonna-
volunteers as
It's
we
going to
need.
cover the same area anyway. with it.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
However,
Okay,
not everyone will be picking what plants. The
Correct.
plants will still be, what plants go where will still be the landscape committee, which is myself, Pam, Carol, and Peg.
correct.
So if you're on the beautification, you're not going to all of a sudden be driving around with us deciding, no, I want to put Croton's here and Alamanda's there. That part of it will still be done by the part that falls under the board, which you're the board member and Peg is the chairman.
Correct.
Just to get that straight.
Anthony?
It should
Go ahead.
continue.
That
Let me
should
just
continue.
explain.
I don't object to it, but is there a limit to the amount of people on the committees?
No, there never was.
I
For
wouldn't think
planting,
so. I
we
mean-
had 25 at one time.
They can always send them home.
Beautification is Bernie and Keith. And when we have the plantings that are going to go out, Chris lets them know where they're going. We also, they're kind of the head people when we have all our new volunteers that come in, educating them how to plant things, where to plant them, how to do the weeding. They do a lot of that. So they're very important. But that's what they do, is from the direction when we decide what the plants are going to be, where they're going. They look for volunteers that Monday morning. Anybody can come down here at 8 o'clock or whatever it is and go out and help with whatever the activity is for that day.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
So Peg, are you in favor of combining the two?
Not necessarily,
Okay, that's fine.
because the beautification committee to me is like under the Morris side. They're the worker bees, the volunteers. That's where so when you look at where it's listed in our directory, that's where that is. Where landscaping is under the board list of committees.
Now, who's in charge of the beautification committee?
I think right now, don't we have Bernie and Keith on that?
Oh, that's it. And they're a member of the landscape
And,
committee
yeah,
too, correct?
Gene Barnhart was on it. I'm not sure if he's staying on it.
I know when, I used to
Yeah.
be on it years ago. That was when I was
Yeah.
younger. But I know some of these, a lot of these guys were active in it.
Mhm.
You want to get kneeled down, right? You
Yeah.
have to say that. But Peggy, you're in charge of landscaping. Now, what is your recommendation to combine the beautification or not to combine the beautification? Because I'm up in the air
I'm
on
fine
it.
with it being left the way it is.
Well, I don't care.
Then I can rescind my suggestion.
Okay, so at one time, there was no landscape committee. It was all called the beautification committee. The chairman of that committee would get with me. It was Dusty Craig, then it was Larry Wicklander, then it was that, and we would go and decide what kind of plants. When we had a certain board member that came here a few years ago, he was really into landscaping. The beautification committee, nobody on the committee wanted to work with him. So the board actually made a separate committee, okay? Made a landscape committee, which was basically this one board member, and the beautification committee stayed the same. And it's just stayed like that since that board member has left. But at one time, it was only called the beautification committee, and they did everything.
And it was explained incorrectly to me.
So what I'm saying is there's no reason why it can't go back to being one committee, if that's what you guys want.
Peg, what's the reason you don't want to combine them?
I guess I don't have a problem with the way it is, so it's up to you guys what you want to do. I was just trying to explain to you what the purpose of the beautification committee and what they actually do.
I mean, the people are gonna get together and you're gonna disperse them where they have to go anyway. I don't know where there's that much of a difference. I mean,
Call it beautification committee, skip the landscape, just say beautification committee, and then the ones that currently are involved in selecting the plants or training, whatever, but you'll have some workers with you too, whatever. I mean, I don't care, it can go one way or the other, but I think.
It's a subgroup of landscaping.
Right. And there's always work to do. I
Yes.
Every Monday, there's things
Right, yeah.
you're not planning.
Yeah.
But we should never go back to that where we were planting the big trees.
If it's working well the way it is now, why change it? The old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Okay. What would, what everybody want, does anybody want to put it on the agenda? They want to put it on the agenda? Take a poll here? No?
I don't really
Okay.
care. I mean, it's not a big
Let's
deal.
leave it the
I
way
can
it is.
rescind it, and we'll just leave it the way it is.
Okay.
Sorry for the
No, that's
more
okay.
discussion.
That's what you need to do.
I've got a few more things if you want to keep going. Okay, so, we had to, I'm sorry. We had to order new parking permits, okay? They no longer make the style permit that we have, the blue ones. They are still blue. However, the only thing is, they have to go now in your back window. Okay, they go from, you look at them through the window, where the old stickers stuck on, where you can put on the outside of the window or on your bumper, they now have to go on from the inside of your back window. When the new people come in to get their stickers, we'll explain to them where it goes, but I just wanted everybody to be aware of it. And they should last longer, exactly.
Is that going to make a difference if it's on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, Chris? No, seriously.
I'm gonna tell them to put it on the driver's side
Driver's
back.
side, okay.
Okay.
When I'm tagging cars or looking around, and Bob knows this, we walk around the entire car.
Okay.
We find them over here, over there.
Right.
So just because they put them in the wrong spot, they don't get towed just because, you know.
That's a good point, Chris. Now that you're talking about that, the parking thing there. I know in the past, when I was on the board, used to come in at night and on weekends to see different vehicles, because a lot of people, what they want to try to do is they park one, then you're gone and park on the weekends and that. Is that still in effect, that you still come around on nights and weekends?
I do, probably not as much as I used to because I'm old.
I was just curious.
But, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, Grace and I were out to dinner or something the other day, and we took a ride through, and I got somebody down, a minor one.
Yeah,
down
but
at, like,
you still, I just want to know if
Yes.
that, so everybody knows that it's
Yes.
not just weekends or whatever the case.
Right.
I thought he used to do that, but I wasn't.
Yes,
Yep.
and like, for instance, we
okay.
tagged 2 cars yesterday down here, and I just tagged 2 pickup trucks that are in this parking lot. They're guests, but they're not registered, and they don't have a parking permit, so they both got tagged. Okay?
So everybody be aware, Chris will be here, probably on weekends, on and off, different times, just tagging cars, just so everybody's aware of it.
Easter Sunday,
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah, 4th of July. Just holidays.
Just a quick question, what about the second vehicle?
So, second vehicles, you either have written permission to park in another owner's spot when they don't have a car, or the second vehicle must park at this clubhouse.
No, that's not my question,
The decal for the second one will still be the hanging one. That's still a hanging one that goes on the mirror. So renters, seasonal renters, and second vehicles don't get a sticker like this anyway. They get an actual hanger that goes on the mirror. So very often I'll have people coming by and they come into the office and say, there's 30 cars that don't have stickers. And I ask them all the time, did you go and look on the front to see if it's hanging from the mirror? Well, no, why would I do that? Well, every seasonal person gets that. Every second vehicle gets that. So, you know, people think they don't have stickers, most of them do.
It would be advisable, though, if people with second vehicles and have the hanging one from the rearview mirror, that if they have the sunscreen in it, that they make sure that that hanging thing can be seen.
Again, I do my due diligence, because I do not want to tow somebody's car that had that.
I understand that you would, but it would be most advisable if people could do that.
Yeah, your next manager isn't going to care. He's going to tow everyone.
How do you know? How do you know that?
You might not retire.
Should I keep going? Sorry.
I got a couple of things.
You do yours.
Making the pool table.
And Diane.
I have 2
Okay,
also.
making the pool table permanent, that's on Vic's thing?
Yes, last year, I think in our April meeting, we decided to do a one-year trial on the pool table being moved downstairs to see if it really is going to be used. As you know, the one that was upstairs it got used a decent amount of time, but some people didn't know it was there because the doors were closed all the time. Well, since I put, when I left last year for the summer, I put 10 blank sheets of sign-up downstairs. And when I came back in October, I think there was, it was on the second page, and that was during summer use. Since then, I just took down page 10. It is getting used basically every day for multiple hours every day, and I would like to have it put on the agenda for next meeting to make it a permanent amenity for Monterey.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. Actually, I have two things. One, I just want to clarify the controversy about the barbells and the pool. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, that the trunk is going in the ladies' room. There's going to be barbells left for families and visitors and renters. And we're encouraging people who live here to take their equipment home with them.
Go ahead, somebody has something to say? What? My understanding that it's going to be moved right out of the pool area, okay? I think if we leave it in the pool area, you're still going to have dumbbells, you're still going to have noodles. I've gotten complaints from many people that go out to the pool, people that have been in the pool because of that. I don't know any reason. I mean, maybe we could find someplace else to store these things for the renters. Another thing is, I mentioned to Diane the other day, I have no intention of throwing any of these barbells out, okay? If they aren't gone by the 20th, we will store them somewhere, but we just want them out of the pool area. And well, it's not.
Why do, I don't understand why renters, I mean,
It's
they're
not
here.
renters that are leaving them, they're probably spare bell, am I right? They're spare barbells that the renters
No,
use when they come down.
No, I know, but Diane said we need extras for visitors and renters. I mean, I can understand visitors, but why do we need extras for renters?
In other words, get their own? I understand that.
Yeah.
But either way, we still have extras, okay, regardless of how it works. I'd like to see them all out of the pool area. I think the women's room needs to be cleaned up some. I've been in there, I mean, in the men's room needs to be cleaned, not just the women's room. I'm not talking about. I don't know, I mean, if somebody's got something to say on it, go ahead, speak up. I'm willing to listen.
You said about the women's bathroom being cleaned. The tiles really need to be steam cleaned.
Okay.
The floor is really bad. I don't know if that's board or home or house committee, I mean, but I know in the women's bathroom, the floor is pretty bad.
I mean, if we can get a good cleaning in there, Chris, and then the weekly people go in there and clean anyway.
I can
Try.
have the company that does like the tile in here try that. Anyone who sees them, you see that huge grout line?
Creates an issue.
No, not offense to anything, because it's worse in the men's room. Urine in it, dirt, whatever. I personally do not think that grout is going to come clean, but definitely the company that does our cleaning does a great job. I can definitely have them try cleaning and see what it comes out.
At least we'll know it's clean.
Yep. Pressure washing, I'm afraid we damage it then. Now you're gonna knock the grout out, and just the plain water will not take the, clean the grout. I'll call a company that does clean it, absolutely.
When it's clean, can it be resealed?
Yes. Once it actually is clean, we'll clean them, let it dry out, and then reseal all the tile again. Yes. Yep.
I'd like to get back to Diana, let her finish. Go ahead.
Are we done with the, I guess I still don't see any reason for not having the trunk in the ladies' room. That's my opinion.
I guess behind. Go ahead.
When Jean, remember when the COVID was out and you took all them away?
Yeah.
Where did you store them?
Took all a lot away.
The ding-dings and the barbells and all that stuff? Where did you
Well,
store them?
the noodles got thrown right out.
They got thrown right
Yes.
out?
I think the noodles, I mean, those are a personal item. I've seen kids in the pool biting on the noodles that are in here, biting on the
Yeah,
dumbbells.
I've
I don't
seen
think that's very sanitary, especially with COVID going around. It's still here, I mean, not going around, but still here.
See, I don't remember where they were stored.
I thought everybody took them out of here. I mean, before this trunk came down here, I know they were being taken home at one time.
Run up to about
Kathy?
Run up to about 2 years ago, they were always taken home
Yeah,
every
that's
day.
right. I
I
know
think they
that.
were in the
yeah.
ladies' room. I think they stored in the ladies' room, didn't they?
No, nothing. They were here when I
bring mine home too.
Barbells, weren't they? No, they weren't. I thought they were.
I think that trunk in the bathroom is disgusting. It's falling apart. It's gotta go.
That's already been thrown out. They're talking about a brand-new trunk.
Okay, no. I mean, because guess what? Here we go again with housekeeping. Nobody pays attention. COVID is still here. Those noodles, like you said, Ron, they're chewed up. I know somebody went in that box to get their barbells. They were disgusting. They didn't even know they were their barbells. So you know what? The less we have around, the cleaner it's gonna be, and the less germs.
Don't clap, please, don't clap. I mean, we understand, I mean, we're trying to do the best we can as a board and keep things under control, so, I mean, we don't need to be clapping about it, that's fine. We understand how everybody feels.
My personal opinion is that to clean up the whole pool area there, but I personally don't have a problem with if they store it in a little box in the ladies' room, as long as it doesn't interfere with any of their bathroom, whatever the case may be. A small thing, like I say, somebody wants to leave it there, that's their prerogative. If it's missing, whatever. I don't know, I don't think so personally, but that's my opinion.
One thing to keep in mind here is that when the prospective buyers come in, they see how we take care of our community. This is our home. We have to treat this like our own home. If you were a prospective buyer, you came in, you saw books all over the place in the library, this room messed up, chairs all over the place, dumbbells laying out on the pool, being somewhat dirty in the restrooms, would you want to buy here? I don't think I would.
Now, what I'm saying, Victor, is I agree 100%. Out over here, they're strewn all over. If they're in a nice small box out of the way and nobody sees it, and you go in the ladies' room, give it a try. If it gets out of hand, then you take that step and not be thrown all over. I thought they were always stored there prior to the COVID, but I didn't know that.
My personal opinion, if owners have to bring their own each time they come to the pool, renters should bring their own. Visitors can use the owners, or they can come in, and when you do the exercises in the pool, you're still getting some exercise even without them. So I feel we should keep it clean. If we're going to ask owners, if we're going to ask, no clapping, please.
No need clapping.
Yeah, we're going to ask owners to bring them back. I think renters and guests should do the same.
Well, I think it's
I don't even use the pool.
I just think that we should have some on hand, because if some family member comes to visit, they're not going to take barbells on a plane to get down here. So are we a welcoming committee or community, or are we going to get so strict that you can't do anything?
I don't have a problem with storing them somewhere, as long as they're not stored in the pool area where everybody's got access to them, where they're going to end up on the deck. Okay? That's the big thing. Because they will end up on the deck, and they will be all over the place, and nobody's going to pick them up.
Do you have a place in mind, Ron, that you'd like to
I don't
store
know.
them?
We could think about it. We could
Okay.
find something. I mean, I'm sure we can find something around here somewhere.
Yeah,
Where
I
it's
think that's
where it's
agreeable.
convenient.
That's
Okay.
agreeable. Diane's house. I have 2 noodles in my bathroom and a set of
The big
barbells.
chest all out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right by the trash one.
I don't think personally, I don't think any noodles should be stored.
No,
I don't think
If
so,
we,
no.
if we try with barbells and it doesn't work, I think then it should definitely taken away.
The noodles are definitely, should be.
If they don't want to, because I have to agree that as a renter, prior to buying here, we had rented a number of years, and every place we rented, there were no noodles or barbells that we could use. If we wanted them, one condo that we rented had the barbells in the closet, along with other beach-type things. That's just my opinion, that you could buy your own, but
Okay.
let's try it.
I think think we can get together and come to some agreement with something. That's fine.
Good.
One of the things I wanted to bring up was windows. It was brought up at a prior meeting that somebody wanted windows, and the board was responsible for them. Well, we talked to that person after we went down and did an extensive window count of the property, and the person decided to do it himself because he found out it was going to be cheaper because of the percentage-wise. So what we're doing is we're going to let everybody do their own windows in here. Okay, the prices that I've got right now are from Monterey. They were at $6,600 for the 2-bedroom, 2-bath units, $5,027 for the 2-bedroom, 1-bath, $3,580 for the 1.5. I'm sorry, that's not gonna work like that, I'm sorry. But that's what well, I'm sorry, that is gonna work like that if you do it on your own. $3,580 for the 1-bedroom, 1.5. And the 1-1s are $2,958. Now, I got estimates from a few different companies, as high as $12,000 for the 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Monterey Glass is the lowest price we have, and we have a few couples in here that are trying to get people together to get windows. John and Robin Parsons, they're in 38J, and Paul and Tina Cajos, they're in 45H. You can look their numbers up in the book. I've called them if you're interested in getting windows. But we're going to have everybody else basically doing their own windows because it's just cheaper to go that way.
And if you don't want windows, you don't have to do anything.
Well, no, I mean, we can only do so much in repairs. If the windows can't be repaired anymore, I mean, you're going to have to get new windows. There's no way around it.
Right, but if your windows are operable and you...
If they're
have a problem,
operable, you can keep them.
No problem.
I also called Monterey. They, from my understanding, I'm trying to get a hold of Cliff. He must be really busy.
That's who I dealt with.
Right. However, I believe she said they were also gathering a list of people, because I said, I understand there's a group from
Okay.
Monterey, and she said, well, we have a list, and we're gonna put you and Frank down. Okay. So I don't know whether they're doing, or should we call the two
Well,
couples
you know
here?
what? Instead of bothering Cliff with it, I would go to these people, get
Okay.
put on a list, and let them call Cliff with the whole list.
Right.
You know, tell them we got 20, 30, 40 people that want to do it. Yeah. It just makes more sense to do it that way, so you're not putting him on the phone all the time.
And this is windows only, it's not the sliders?
Just windows only.
And is it basic features or additionals? That would be
Well,
something everybody would have to look at.
whatever we have in our docks is what you have to go. You have to put the same style window in that we've got right now in the condos.
Okay.
With the crossbars. They got to be hurricane proof.
Yeah.
Unless you have shutters, then you can get around that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Diane.
The sliders across the back?
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
It's
I didn't think so.
Windows only.
Okay,
Just the
thanks,
windows.
Thank you. Okay.
Anybody else got any questions? Let's see.
We've got one more. Ken?
Go ahead, Ken.
I've got a quick question. At a previous board meeting, I believe Chris said that we had an engineer inspect about 5 buildings, and they determined that there would be an average of approximately $1,000 per building to make things right. How serious are any of those, and what plan do we have to get that moving? Since $500,000 is quite a bite, especially with all the other assessments we get.
Yeah, it is. We're probably looking at $600,000 at least. That's bare minimum at $12,000 a building. Go ahead, Chris. I'll let you take it.
Okay, so that's one of the things that was on my report, to bring it to you guys' attention. We actually didn't decide how we were going to proceed. Money-wise, what I did is we figured that at the average is about $12,000 per building for all the concrete repairs that need to be done, along with the permitting, along with the engineer overseeing the job, everything that we would need. I believe Lorraine was still treasurer when we did this, so it was right before you, Vic. And we took the 612, came up with a 5-year plan and a 3-year plan. 5-year plan for A, E, F, and J would be about $264 a year for 5 years. For 3 years would be $440. B, D, G, and I, 5-year would be $234. 3-year would be $390. C and D's would be 5-year $204, 3-year $340. However, there is definitely some things, after looking at the report and talking to certain owners that have done construction and things like that, there are some things that we can get done in-house. Things you guys may not like, but like all the holes that get drilled into the second floor for your cane bolts, they all have to get filled in. Okay, this has nothing to do with the fire department now. This has to do with it actually having water getting into the concrete and causing damage. We can do that in-house. All the places where the rails go into the cement, they call that core drilling. They actually drill a hole, they put it in there. There should actually be, they should not be concave at all. They should not be able to hold any water. We can fill them in-house. We use hydraulic cement, and you build it up so that no water gets in. That's another thing we can do in-house.
They have to be crowned.
They have to be crowned, exactly. If you can. If you can crown them, it's better. But as long as they're not concave. We can do a lot of the smaller stuff that we can get going on right away, and I've actually got some owners that have volunteered to do that. How much that's going to lower what your special assessment is going to be for all the other things, because the other things are much more major. There, if you see what they call staircasing, you can see your block, your cement block. You actually see that? We can't do that in-house. That has to be done. They use an injection now, etc. My thought was, let's do those 5 buildings. Let's do those 5 buildings first. Have them do those 5. It'll be a much smaller special assessment. Well, just a special assessment for those 5, and see what actually has to be done and what the cost is. But you guys got to make that decision. You have to decide what we want to do, how quickly we want to start doing it. Again, none of this is structural to the point that your building is going to fall down. If anybody heard about the other building down in Miami that had to be evacuated, that's not going to happen here. The state is not even including, in the new bill that's out at the state, they're not even including 2-story buildings being inspected. 3 and over, the state is going to make you start getting these buildings inspected on a 40-year term and then every 10 years. We're not included in it. We're only 2-story. We have no elevators. We have no garbage chutes. We don't have AC water towers, etc. So it's not like it's an emergency, but it's obviously something that has been brought to our attention that we need to address.
Chris, wouldn't it be more advantageous if we just started all the buildings with in-house to get those done?
We can definitely start those things immediately. That's what I'm saying.
And then
that
we'll get
we can
those
start.
done, then
Yeah.
see where we stand.
And that's fine.
Then get a different price on it, right?
Yes, and say that these things are already done.
Right.
You don't have to include them in the bid with the contractors
Right.
that would be doing the work. Correct.
Yeah.
So is that something, you want to add that to the agenda? To say, okay, go ahead and get this done in-house?
I would think so.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I mean, that's something, divided up by the 510 on $60,000 bill is about $118 per unit. I mean, it's going to get broken down percentage-wise, but it gives you a pretty good idea what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be over $125, $130. I wouldn't think anyway. Am I doing that right, Chris?
Yes, but however, is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna do those 5, or are we just gonna start doing the stuff we can do in-house? And when I say in-house, it's not gonna be my guys, it's gonna be probably Daniel. I've got a couple of owners that said, hey, we can fill those holes in. It's quite easy. It's hydraulic cement, it's self-leveling.
Yeah.
You actually just pour it in the hole, it self-levels.
Yeah.
You let it dry, and then we go back and paint it.
We may be able to cut the price in half. It's possible.
I would,
So-
yeah. I would suggest, and I'm not an expert on that, my suggestion would be, is have our guys get all those in-house stuff done first, then take it from there.
I agree.
I mean,
I think we
the
should do
severity
that.
of it.
Do we
need to
want,
put it on the agenda to vote on it?
do we want the contractor to come in to do the first 5 buildings? That's the thing.
That's what I'm asking. Do you want them to do the first 5, or do you just want to start doing what we can do in-house?
I'd say go that way first.
Do it in-house first?
Yeah, I
Yeah, do it in-house, this way you won't get a hit with another assessment right off the bat, right?
Right.
Okay, so,
We're preparing the owners that this is coming down the pike.
so
We're going to start.
sounds like we're going to be starting in-house. So anybody who lives upstairs, we are going to be filling in your hole for your cane bolt. You will not be able to prop your door open. We have found online, there is a door prop that you can purchase. It's like the old style where you click them down and it stops the door from closing. They run about $12.95. Or you can put in the bar up top. But obviously, anybody who has a cane bolt, once we get your holes filled in, you will not be able to prop your door open.
Okay, one of the things I wanted to ask, is the engineer going to get involved in this? Do we need to call him back?
I would say no on this first stuff. Let us go and do what we can do in-house, and then have them come out and say, okay, we're ready to start the buildings that we've done everything we can do in-house, now take over.
So what we'll do is we'll do what we can do, the contractor will come in and finish up what they have to do, and then we'll have the engineer look at it. Okay.
Well, the engineer is gonna put out the bid. That's part of that $12,000.
Yeah.
The engineer will actually put the bid out because they're gonna write up the spec that needs to be done. They're gonna tell them you need to use a certain cement, tensile strength, whatever it is. And they'll make their recommendation that here's the 3 bids we got for you with what is left to be done on the initial thing we found. And then you guys can determine what we want to do from there. But let us do as much as we can in-house.
Let me ask another, I don't want to throw a damper into it, though. How do we know it's done how do we know that these guys are doing it correctly? That was whoever's doing it, our guys. How do we know that? I hate to see somebody do it, then it's wrong.
Again, we're doing very limited stuff, just filling in holes. That's basically all that we would be doing, is filling in the holes where the rails go in, and filling in the holes where all the cane bolts are and anything like that. Again, it's a hydraulic cement. You actually pour it in, it self-levels. You don't need a trowel, you don't need anything. It actually self-levels, dries, and then we would paint it after that.
So this is only for the second floor, right?
Yes, that's only for the second floor, correct.
Okay.
It's only where the rails are, so we'll be going up the steps and the rails, and only the holes on the second floor, correct.
Okay. And the door openers, are we going to have a specific measurement of how far open they can be, so we don't get back into the...
Okay, so the thing with those type door closers, you can open them and close them to any distance you want, because it's basically attached to the old style door stops. That's all it is. It's just long so that it reaches all the way to the floor of the catwalk. We haven't really gotten into any further problems with the distance in the fire department. However, that may be something else that you have to go back to using the bar, and the bars are only made what the fire department says they're allowed to be. So the doors would only be open, I think it's 10 or 12 inches, and that's it. So that's another thing you guys might want to decide. Do it now, because we know it is coming down the pike from the fire department.
But
and get us into
If you have one of the door stop type, can you just not open it past the 10 inches?
Yeah, you can put it
Yeah.
at 10 inches and just leave it at that.
And leave it at that.
But you could open it any distance.
Well, of course,
Right.
of course. But I see one of the problems with the door jam there, because you're talking about the one that goes in the top of the door. We have a lot of short people. Let me rephrase it. We have a lot of under tall people. But it was just a comment. That's
It's
all.
something that's going to have to be figured out, that's for sure.
How are we gonna, because there are a lot of doors that are open. So how are we gonna, Chris, are we gonna have a supply of them? Are you gonna order the stoppers?
That's up to you guys. I personally don't think we should. I don't even think that we should install them.
Oh,
Okay? We install it on your door and we damage the door, now what?
yeah, that's true.
You know what? You want a door closer, you get somebody to put it on.
All right, but you could offer a suggestion of the one you
We actually got one,
Yeah.
not us, they bought it on themselves for somebody that had their door put in.
Okay.
And I'm gonna actually ask them how it works.
Okay.
Is it okay, now that you've had it for about a month?
Yeah.
It's wind, it's whatever, how is that working? Is
Yeah.
it worth doing?
I'm concerned about wind, the
Yeah,
wind.
that's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay. Question over here.
There's one hand up.
I just have a concern when you're talking, the whole thing was coming along, and I agree with it, the integrity of the cement. Why would the downstairs not have the same issue with integrity of cement? Because any paint or anything that's off any surfaces, it isn't upstairs, it's downstairs.
Because
So
we're
they're getting a lot of water.
Well, we're having a problem with the balconies. There's re-rod through all the balconies. And when the water goes down through there, it's rust in the re-rod. If you know,
I understand
Okay.
that, I'm totally behind that, you want that integrity. But the same integrity must apply to downstairs for the holes that are there, because then we're making a pool for water there in that cement, are we not?
you got the same integrity, but you got to remember something. That pad is on the ground. It's not in the air. It's not an issue up in the, it's an issue with a catwalk
So
possibly.
you think it's drilled right through to the earth then, so that it's trans, otherwise
It
it's
shouldn't
still
be.
not-
Those holes, you shouldn't have to drill them more than a half inch anyway to hold anything.
But is there not rebar in all concrete?
Yeah, but.
So I'm
you-
understanding what Beth's
But you're
saying.
talking about a catwalk that's over above.
That I understand.
Go ahead, Chris,
Okay, so the downstairs catwalks are not actually connected to the buildings, okay? They're actually separate, they're not the foundation. They were added afterwards. If they have rebar going through them, which I highly doubt, they probably have mesh, okay, because it's only this wide. They did not point them out, the engineer did not point them out on their report, okay? It was all second-story items, up walls, etc. They did not mention the downstairs walkways.
One of the things I wanted to say, those are basically sidewalks downstairs.
Correct.
Okay? They can be replaced very easily. Those catwalks can't be replaced very easily. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have two comments. The first one, sometimes the simplest answer isn't addressed. What would be the problem of, once you fill the hole in up top, taking maybe a 3/8 inch washer and gluing it down to the concrete? That would hold that rod in place, and the water that would be in there would evaporate, it wouldn't affect the landing. To me, that's a simple answer. And the second question regarding the engineer's report, was there anything in there about the copper that was used 50 years ago in the buildings? Because I know of two instances, one up in the middle of the state where it's actually a relative of mine, could not get homeowners insurance until he had all that, his copper and the walls replaced. Something about the copper that was used back then was is starting to pit. Secondly, I have a friend that has a condo up in Vero that they're in the process of replacing all of their copper tubing through their units because of the same problem. Do we need to look into that?
So the copper pipe was not inspected. This was totally just a structural engineer. They were not worrying about anything other than structure, period. They didn't do the plumbing, they didn't do the piping, they did not do electrical, they did strictly structural. I've been here 17 years, I've only had one copper pipe leak in 17 years. Happened to be Bob Bacosi's, but
Somebody sabotaged.
that was the only one. Again, that would be a different type of inspection. We're spending an awful lot of money. I don't know if we still want to start inspecting everything, but again, another set of inspections, another decision by the board.
I just wanted to get back to the doors being open. We are on the bottom floor, which doesn't affect us being not on the top floor, but we bought this, it's a really heavy-duty rubber wedge that we put in the bottom hinge when we open the door, It allows the wind to take the door back and forth. It does not bang into the building. It doesn't slam shut. And I think the cost was about $10. And it works great. And Marlene, who lives upstairs, also purchased them, and she agrees it works great. And it doesn't, the door will swing, but the wind won't take it into the building or slam it shut. Just putting it out.
As an option.
You should take a look at it.
Over here, Peck. Oh, I'm sorry. You got, go ahead. No, you're all right. Go ahead. You got Kenny, as long as you're there.
So in other words, to recap, we're going to pretty much table everything except for a few cosmetic things, doing a little bit of caulking around posts, and that's it, and everything else we'll discuss.
No, it's not cosmetic at all. We are filling
okay,
in
I
holes where water is seeping
Okay.
into the catwalk and causing damage. It's
Okay,
not cosmetic.
I used the wrong word. I shouldn't have. We're going to be doing light work and really not getting into anything further than the filling that in around some of the posts.
Right.
And then we're tabling it till what, next year, and to discuss what we're going to do about this, the rest of the $600,000 worth of repairs?
We're doing one step at a time. We're gonna.
One step at a time, Kenny.
Okay.
You know, we're gonna have to get contractors in here to do certain parts of this. We can't do it. I mean, you know, when you gotta start pointing block out and grinding block and filling in stepping, it's gonna get expensive. So we'll try to do as much as we can ourselves.
I understand that, and I'm glad that you're thinking and starting to put a plan together about that, because there's some things that we might be spending money on and assessing that aren't as high on the priority list as this may be. That's all.
It's something that has to be started because the engineer came in and inspected. There's no way around it now, since it's been inspected. And so we're gonna proceed with it the way we feel it's right to proceed with it.
It's not going to go away.
Going back to the doors, because that's a sore subject with me, is there any way that you can come up with something that's standard for everyone on the second floor, so that way there are no issues with how wide the door can be open?
What's that there?
Distance already in place?
No, it's not, because everybody can do different things with it right now.
We can all do our own, but what I'm saying is make a suggestion of this, so that everyone can use the same stopper or the same whatever device. So that way, there are no issues, because unfortunately, I do have issues.
I know you're doing that. One building, there's been an issue.
There's two buildings that, no, the other building has been okay.
Yeah.
But my building, I have issues.
Well, like you said, we actually had a problem in two buildings, but the other one can open it a little bit farther than what you can open it.
Yes.
I know that.
I can only open my door.
Yeah.
And it's okay, I mean, but I'd rather everybody on our floor, if we have to open it, to all be standard, so that there is no issues with anyone else.
That's not a bad idea, to set a standard, have one that everyone should use. This is what we choose. Chris, if you could look into what's the best one. This is the one we're choosing, because eventually, I think we're going to end up having probably to use the hook, because then that will be built to the exact specifications the fire department wants.
You're probably right, Larry.
The hook is a bad idea, because for short people, I'm short. We had to get rid of our hook because I couldn't hook it. So,
I can't ever leave.
You either have a hook or you don't have anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fill in the hole.
Chris, they can put the hook in the middle of the door, or there's also some type of
Yeah, you could-
latch that I've seen in the middle of the door.
Yeah, you could put it.
That doesn't have to be on the top.
Yeah, you could put it down lower.
You could put
Yeah.
it lower.
There's
You're
no
right.
reason. There's no reason why you can't put the hook lower on the door.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
None whatsoever. If you choose to do that. The drop-down stoppers work real well. I know a few people that have got them. Go ahead, Carol.
I just had a question about getting approval for things to go on 63. We don't need an approval for things that go in chip shots. We don't need an approval for things that are on the Facebook page now. Do we have to get an approval to have things put on 63, and why?
I would say yes, but I'm going to turn that over to Peggy. She's on the
She's turning it over to me.
She's going to turn it over.
No, she's turning it over to me. Okay, so first off, you do have to get things approved on chip shots. You can't just put in an article and whatever you want, and they just put it in chip shots. That's not true. The Facebook page, Monterey knows nothing about the Facebook page. It is not ours. It's not sanctioned. We are not advertising it. That is a private page. The reason 63 things always got approved. We just do it more strict now because people were putting on books and they were putting things on. For instance, your thing didn't get put on. Somebody put something in, I think it was Beth, did not get put on 63. I was told the committee was you, Kathy Browse, and Kathy Mondello. Didn't even know Beth was. This is what I was told. Okay, and the paperwork didn't have a day on when the meeting was to be held. It's sitting on my desk still. The editors of the chip shots approve it. People send them articles, they go through them, they edit them for content, they edit them for any negativity of the association, etc. Oh, yeah.
But I guess my question is, 63 goes through you, but for chip shots, a resident gets to proofread and do a.
Okay, nope. All I do is approve it and send it to the communications committee. They edit it, they change it. It says right on that form that they have the right to do this, to change it, make it more precise, etc. All I do is say yes, send it to the communications committee, and they deal with it from there. And they have edited things, they have changed things, they've made it smaller, they've dressed it up where they put little, people playing games or whatever. That is not actually approved by me. I just approve it to be sent to the communications committee.
And as far as chip shots, all the articles go to Bernie and Keith. They edit where it needs to be for things like that. They put the paper together, then it is sent to Chris for approval before it ever goes out to the community. Yeah. Yes, before it's sent out.
Before, and I give it to usually one or two board members. Just read this before it goes out. Is everything okay? Yeah. That was my fault because I actually went away that day and I did not have the opportunity to call Beth. Actually, I was going to call you because I heard that you were the chairman of the committee. So that's my bad. You writing me up?
I think that's a new complaint that we.
There's a new complaint form.
Yeah, so you're safe. It's not developed
It
yet.
hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
Hi. I just wanted to talk about, when I hear the concerns about another assessment and such, and it's getting a little heavy to get them, I get it, all the things that we've discussed they can't wait, they're not gonna go away. And I'm just wondering if there's anything that we as a community can come up with, any fundraising. And one of the issues is with the parking, I think there's more people that have 2 cars here, and when we purchase one spot. So if they want to use, the second one's to go out here. I'm finding that we had visitors, and they didn't have a visitor, just to come in for a couple hours and visit, because a second car was in that spot. They seem to think that if you're away, and I'm away a lot, that my spot is available, and somebody ran the new bar, after I understand it all got painted and stuff. That just bugs me because it's messy. But I'm thinking that, can we not start charging them if they're parking out here for a second car? Because when we purchased, we paid for one car spot in our purchase price. Am I correct on that? I don't know.
No, I understand, and that was part of the thing that was on part of my things to talk about. One of the things that no RVs, pickup trucks, vans, motorcycles, trailers, or boats are permitted in the parking spaces, nor on the streets, nor anywhere in the common area, except for commercial vehicles or equipment used for maintenance on buildings and grounds. It is only in the areas specifiedly approved by management and regular business hours. You're not supposed to have two cars. If you look at the rules, I don't have it marked here, but if you look in the rules, you're only allowed one vehicle. The second vehicle is supposed to be up here. If management or the board does not know about it, we can't take care of that, okay? We can't go tag the car, we can't have the car towed unless somebody turns it in, okay? That's a problem throughout the community. It's not just in one spot, believe me. Bob and I have been out, I know Chris has been out. We're starting to tag cars. So be aware of it, and Chris will be around tagging cars.
I didn't want to turn it into a negative. I'm just thinking it's an opportunity that we have some income coming in because we do have all these assessments and they're all very legit things.
I mean, I suppose if somebody wanted to get something like that together and have people donate, but
I'm just thinking going forward too, when
Yeah.
people are coming in, that's reviewed, and then there's a fee for that second one. I know in where I'm from, parking, when you buy a condo is phenomenal. If you rent your parking space out, you can make more than if you rented your condo. That's true.
that's the truth. You're right.
And when you have two, then you purchase a second one. So that's not on everybody else to maintain the pavement or give it, frequency
Okay.
for the worker trucks to come in and all those kinds of things. I'm just looking at it as a positive, not a negative, but
Okay.
you've purchased
I
one.
understand.
And my understanding, just speaking with someone, is that after a few years, if you want a second one, you can put that forward to purchase as well. But right now, they're just spread all around.
See, one of the issues in here is we're limited on parking spaces. And like you said, I mean, guests come in, they don't have places to park. And that hurts a lot of people when somebody's got two cars are parked in there, or people aren't parked where they're supposed to be parked. That makes a big difference. Understand where you're coming from. Can you get people together to pay for things? Maybe. I don't know. It's a guessing game.
It's a thought.
It's a good thought, though. Anybody else got anything? Chris, you still got more stuff? I do.
It's me again. I still don't understand with maintenance fees and assessment, because I know we have the 1-1s, we have the 1.5, we have 2-1s, and we have the 2-2s. But I know that many 2-1s have become 2-1, 1.5, some even 2-2s. So what is it based on?
It's based on the square footage of the units.
And what are they then for the three classifications?
Okay, so the A, E, F, and J are all the same. You get charged 44% of the budget. I have no idea. I have no idea. But if you add a bathroom to a 2-1, it's still the same square footage. Your square footage didn't change. You just made a different room. So the way that it is broken down in the docs, A, E, F, and J is one classification, B, D, G, and I is the second classification, and C and H's are the third. Spelled out in the docs how much each one charges.
44%, 39%, 17%.
You got it.
I think the actual square footage
Round
is
it
in the
off.
docs.
The actual square footage is probably in the docs. I don't know. That's something I don't know off the top of my head.
900 square feet.
But that's right in the docs. We have no choice.
We have no
by what we do.
choice, yeah.
It's written into the docs.
Move on, Chris.
The only way we can change that, we can change that if we get 100% of the vote. Anybody in a 1-1 that wants to vote for it?
Oh, yeah.
I've got two things that I have to bring to you guys because this has to be vote.
Yeah, because.
So I'll go fast. The first one is the painting of the walls are due this year. We have in the reserves $16,500 for painting the walls. that will only do one wall now because of the cost of paint and labor, et cetera. There is extra money in the paint reserve account. I think we could probably do the inside and outside of the Palm City wall and the small wall on the shopping plaza. I have proposals from 3 different companies. What I'm asking is do you want to do them during the summer? Do you want me to go ahead and schedule this? Do you want to put it on the agenda to vote on? And where do you want me to leave bids? You want me to give you each a copy of each bids, or just bring them to the meeting to vote? Or do you not want to do the wall this summer?
Can I say something on it? Is there any way that they can power wash the wall in different spots? Because I rode around the other day, a lot of the wall doesn't need it, in my opinion.
Okay,
Okay?
the
I don't know.
areas that you're seeing that you think you need pressure cleaning is actually because the paint is worn off.
Oh, that's not from the stains from the water
No.
thing, I think.
No.
They're all stained.
We can, we can spray the rust aid, the
Yeah.
rust remover all the time.
Right.
The purely just pressure cleaning, it's not gonna do what needs to be done. The wall needs to be sealed again, the cracks fixed, and like I said, the majority where you're seeing it and you're thinking it's dirty is actually the paint worn off. If you really go up and look at it, it's not that it's mildew or mold or something growing on the wall. Do you wanna do them this summer? This is the schedule. I guess the schedule is due, the walls are due to start being done this year.
Let me just add on to that, Ron, you know more than I do about it. Is there any way they could just take the iron stains out? Because those are the ones that
course.
really stand out. The other stuff doesn't stand out as much, I don't think.
Of course we can just do that. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh,
How
I
do
don't know
you
what
wanna
everybody else's opinion
proceed?
is.
How would you like
You
to
want another
proceed?
assessment, that's fine.
It's not an
But
assessment.
It's not an
It's in the
assessment.
budget.
You just, excuse me, you just said that would
I'm
cover
only
one wall.
I'm only gonna do that wall and that wall.
Okay, the other ones aren't
And
gonna
the
be
next
done.
wall will be done at a later date, and we were also waiting because, don't forget, that wall, we have given Martin County permission, they're gonna be tearing up that sidewalk. We voted on about a year and a half ago. We had to give Martin County permission, the DOT, they're gonna be tearing up a lot of that sidewalk, so we don't wanna do any work on that wall until that work's done
Oh,
anyway.
so they could pay for it then.
Yeah, right.
So we're saying 16,500 plus whatever's in the budget for painting
Okay,
already
so
would
the
cover it?
lowest bid came in at 13,500 for that wall and 4,500 for the back wall. So it's 1,800, so it's $1,500 more. There is the money available in the
Okay,
paint
there is-
reserve
okay.
because it's a pooled account.
Okay.
So we
That
have
answers my
enough money to
question.
do those 2 walls.
That's inside and outside.
Inside and outside for this one, only inside and cap on that one. Because the shopping plaza painted the outside of the wall a different color.
Okay.
I got you. I didn't know.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
yes. I don't
So you
think
won't
I-
go through another special assessment for just the
There,
wall,
there will,
understood.
there will not
Gotcha.
be a special assessment to paint the wall.
Okay.
I think we should put it on the agenda.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
And what I'll do is I'll make copies of all the proposals for you guys and I'll put them in your boxes, okay?
Good, yep.
Add to agenda. Okay, the last thing I have is, I gave you all guys all this, if you can look at it right now, the TOPS upgrade. So, what TOPS is the program that we use to do the accounting. Gail Z, when she quit, really left us high and dry. We didn't have passwords, we didn't have anything. So, I'm just gonna go through this, I'll read through it right now. To do the TOPS upgrade, from TOPS Pro is what we have. We've had this system for 15 years. They do not make it anymore, there is no technical support available. The only help has been from the accountant's office at $135 an hour. It is a file-based system, which means everything is stored on one computer. We must do manual backups, the system can only be accessed through one computer. We want to upgrade to TOPS 1. This has been recommended by the accountant, TOPS 1. It is a browser-based system, which means it's accessed through the internet. It can be accessed through any computer with authority. You can't just log on, we have to give you codes. It's unlimited everything, unlimited support, unlimited users with authority, unlimited service, capable of doing much more than our current system. For instance, right now, to do our ACHs, we have to do that through Truist, the bank. We actually have to do it twice because Diane has to add it all onto the TOPS. I do the Truist, then we have to make the 2 match. this top system would do it all. There is a one-time fee of $1,000 that gives us the program. They will import from our current tops 2 years' worth of stored material onto the new system and 6 hours of training. I had increased the equipment line item of the budget this year to be able to buy a new program. I increased it by $4,500. So that $45 is already in the budget. But to continue doing this, we would have to add $1,500 to the budget for next year, because this is based on a per door price. So it's going to cost us $510 a month to have this system forever. It would only increase next year's budget by $1,500.
Well, yeah, it's 510 a month to maintain.
To do for them to do the service, the upgrades, any kind of upgrades that need to be done, any kind of problems, you log on, they run you through it, they actually can take over your computer, fix the problem, etc. We have to do it, but you guys have to approve it. I mean, this is a no-brainer, as Bob just said. It has to be done. We can't, that's all I wanted to say.
Put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Enough talking.
Okay. I'm done, believe it or not.
Okay. I had one last thing, if there's still time.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just wondering why there were orange cones put over in the parking lot on the guest spot across the street when there was an event that night.
I believe, I didn't do it, but I believe they were put there so nobody would take the guest pocket to parking spots. Go ahead.
Yes, the last time you said you went down there, your people took all the parking spots, and we had 2 people coming over to visit. They never was parked.
Okay, it's not. Yeah, it's not my people. We are the people.
But that is an issue. Once in a while, it is an issue where people come over and they take the
Yeah,
guest
but,
spots. They know they are supposed to do it, but they do it anyway.
Okay, so it was not, it was just a random resident that did this?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
It does say, though, when you're having a party, that you cannot use the spots in front of buildings 50 and 51. It does say that, right in the form that you got to fill out. It does say you cannot use the spots in building 50 and 51.
Yeah, it's
Just-
done all the time.
Oh, I know, I'm
Yeah,
just saying, yeah.
So that
I don't
maybe.
think that wasn't your question. I know
No,
it's just
but
the
that's
orange
something we should
colors.
probably take a look at, because, again, I think there's 8 spots over there, and not all 2 buildings are going to take up the 8 spots and have the same company.
Right.
So, maybe we could negotiate, leave 2 open at all times on the day of an
During
event.
functions.
Makes no
Yeah.
difference to me.
Thank you.
As long as I have my spot, I don't care.
Well, come to the event, then you're guaranteed a spot.
Then you guaranteed a spot.
Dixon, somebody's got a question over there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We went over to visit people over there, and you were having an event down there. My husband was told, "Oh, park in this lady's spot." Well, then he got in a lot of trouble, and even because he was a board member. So,
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Kath.
Well, again, if we leave a couple of spots.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are we finished with that? Could I go on?
Go ahead.
I just want to compliment everyone about the garbage bins. They look beautiful. And mine were put in last week, and they're really very nice. Only, I leaned against it, well, it kind of slipped, and it moved. How well are they anchored in case we have a storm?
Okay, was it actually anchored yet by the time you did that?
Okay.
Yours. It may not have actually had the anchor in it yet. We are looking at a different system for a storm, where we're probably gonna put a strap over it to anchor it down.
Perfect.
That is something that is, so they don't blow. We are actually
But
looking into that.
They look 100% better than the in-ground.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
It's 11:45.
I got one other thing. Peggy, this is for Peggy, where are you? Okay. After I know we have to approve the more activity folder. However, I see some, there's about 5 or minor stuff, so if it's the board's all right, if I can meet with Peggy, change these minor things, like days or whatever it may be, afterwards, instead of going through this thing now. And then we can put on the agenda to vote on it for the next meeting. So sometime before the next meeting, there's some minor stuff on it, okay? We'll put that in the agenda, right? Chris, or
Yes.
to vote
Yes.
for the.
Okay, that's
there's about
fine.
4
Yep.
instead of boring everybody with it.
Next meeting?
Yeah.
Nelson has a question.
I just wanted to go through the committees. Does everybody have their committees in place? There we go. Some of them are already in place, we voted on. We just get them together so we can vote on the balance of them at the next meeting.
Yes, yes, exactly. You have to bring all your members. If it wasn't ones that we knew, where it's just 3 board members, et cetera, you need to bring them all to the meeting.
The 19th.
No, wait a minute.
Next Tuesday.
Can we do the afternoon?
Isn't it next Tuesday?
19th, oh.
Yes.
Okay, so who can't be here next Tuesday?
Who can't be here next Tuesday? Okay.
Don't you
I
have to
can be-
leave early?
I have to leave early, I have to leave by 12:30 today. But, no, I can be here for the meeting in the morning. But I have something else right after the meeting.
But Pam can't, so you have something going on in the afternoon?
At 12,
At 12.
so.
Okay, so we were originally changing it from the 4th Tuesday because we thought you weren't gonna be here. Can we go back to having it on the 4th Tuesday like it was supposed to be?
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great for me.
Oh, you're leaving that day?
9 in the morning.
Keep looking at your calendar.
Well,
Can we have it on Monday? 25th?
Monday, the 25th?
Monday the 25th?
That's fine.
Is that good?
Monday 25th, good for you guys?
I'm not here next Monday, but
The 25th?
Well, next Monday, we can't do it anyway because we've got something going on
I'm not
here.
sure either.
So, Monday, the 25th is good for everybody at 10 a.m.?
I don't have my calendar either, but can we email you back?
I'll make it happen.
Okay, 10 o'clock.
What is this for now exactly?
Monday, the 25th.
regular board
The
meeting.
regular board
Regular
meeting.
board.
Monday, the 25th at 10.
So, again, I'm going to ask this question. Are we going to continue board meetings during the summer or only as necessary?
You know what, I don't see any reason having meetings during the summer. I mean, Chris has his weekly meet, or monthly meeting. I mean, that kind of puts everything out to the
Okay.
people, all
Just
the
wanna know.
residents. I mean, if we need to do something, if it's important, then we can do it.
We can do Zoom.
If it's an emergency or
Yeah, an
something
emergency
very
or,
important, we
I mean,
can
we
do
can
it.
always schedule something, so it's not like it's a big deal, you know?
I have one thing I need to speak of yet. We have not had the second time around sale now for 2 years, and it is a very profitable sale. I know some people don't want it. I've had a lot of people come to me, would like to donate things for it. In this last several years that we had it, the sale makes about $6,000. It's a very profitable event for the community. We do a lot of small projects with it. We did one large project on doing the library. I was chairman at the time of the House Committee. We put in about $9,000 to that library out of that committee. I would like to have the board approve to have it done again this year at the Yacht Club on the 29th of January, and close down the Yacht Club for 2 weeks for people bringing in their donations. The way we think we might be able to handle it, you bring it in, it's sorted, it's priced, and it's put on the table. All one step. No storing it, or we had to bring it back down or anything. Furniture can be brought inside as well. At this point, I'm just looking for approval of the sale and have the Yacht Club closed down for 2 weeks.
Can I comment on that, Vic?
No.
Oh, okay. Vote against it. Now, I got a question on it. I think I told Sam or whoever it is that you could do, I don't have a problem having it like that. I have a feeling what's going to happen, maybe not, is that if we don't have it over here, and I understand your point, that you want over there for different things. You're going to have a police officer out there or something. Logistically, I don't think it's going to work. Because most of the people here come to the second time around sale in here, they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think it's going to be, personally, a nightmare to try to get people in and out of that parking lot constantly. And I understand your point where it makes sense. It's closed off for the time. You don't have to move it once or twice. I understand that. But we have to keep in the back of our mind, logistically, I think a lot of people in this community aren't going to go back and forth over there. And that's my point. Whatever you want to do, I could see having it, but it's my personal opinion.
It's a very good comment, but keep in mind,
I understand.
there's nowhere to sort clothes here now, or sort the items. We don't have the pool table up here anymore where we can do the sorting. There is no room in here that we can sort and store. That's the main reason.
But consideration was freaking for up the traffic.
We've already talked about that a little bit. We can hire an off-duty cop to direct traffic for 4 hours.
Okay.
It's only going to cost about $200 or $300. Take that out of sale money. Last year we rented a pod. It cost us more than that.
I'm not against it. I'm
We
just
wouldn't have
telling
to do
them
that.
why I think
I
that's.
understand your concern.
It's
Chris and I talked about parking. We don't think parking will be a problem. So at this point, we're just asking mainly to close down the yacht club.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that would be my concern, is that we close down the yacht club for 2 weeks, because that is the beginning of the season, and lots of people come back expecting to have things go on. Maybe some of those things could be moved over here, so that things aren't necessarily totally gone for 2 weeks. I know Chris just gave me that. No.
I was just doing, yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I know yesterday we were pretty loud, and that's got to be hard to work when there's all that.
We just close it down now, and I put a sign,
No, I know, but I mean, it's
Fine.
still chatter. But again, I think that we ought to take a look at the calendar and say, what's on the calendar and what's regular scheduled events, and maybe some of those could be moved, so we don't lose 2 weeks. And
That's
then it-
something, that's something.
But basically what's down there, we have the art group, they play bridge over there. Both those can be brought up here very easily. We have the yoga and the exercise. They could do it up here. I know Sue has canceled yoga or exercise, one of them, before because of something was going on. So that's been done in the past.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, I'm just saying setting a precedent, that's all. And if we take a look at every opportunity to meet everyone's needs, at least then we've done due diligence.
Saturday's the 28th, Vic, not the 29th. Yeah.
So, am I adding that to the agenda?
Do you want to add it to the agenda, and then we can work the details out
Yeah, I think
of how it's going to go? Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. It's got to be worked out the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to have it so we could draw in some extra money.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think we need the money.
We need to work the details out, that's all. Okay, let's get back to the board committees. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. Who's back?
Yes, I've already worked with Diane Parks on that. It is on your calendar, yes, we've already put it on there. We've made adjustments so that there would be no activities or events there, so that piece has been done, yes.
that piece has been done. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only things that would be conflict is like what Victor just said, is the art group is there, the fitness classes are there. The other events, we made sure that there wasn't a conflict there, so that is already on the calendar.
Okay, thank you, Peggy. I'm sorry. Hang on one second.
28th. January 28th.
I just would like to say, I'm all for the second time around sale, because it does bring in money, and it does do little things that we don't need special assessments. And one thing I ask, no linens.
No linens. All that can be worked out.
I would say no white elephant table.
There you go. Anybody else got anything to say right now, or no? Let's do the committees.
Lon, are we doing the salary review?
do the committees.
Yes, yeah.
Doing it here?
Get to the committees.
We can do it if it's open, yeah, but let's do the committee list first.
Okay.
Now, Vic, you're on budget. You all set? You're still looking for one person?
No, Carol Federbacher's going to be
Carol
our
Federbacher.
choice.
So they can come off 60.
Okay. Salary review, you're all set, Gene. We got Vic,
Myself,
Lorraine,
Vic,
and
and
yourself.
Lorraine.
Okay. Annual owners meeting. That's Lorraine, Kathy Herman, Rosemary Downey, and we're supposed to have somewhere between 10 and 15 more people, but we don't have to list them. Those are usually put on. Those are put on afterwards, okay.
You've got the committee's all set.
Finance, Vic.
We'll have it for next week. We'll have it for the meeting.
Okay. You're good, except for the one spot, one opening that's in there.
Yes.
Okay. Planning committee, Lorraine.
There is one opening, we have 2 candidates, and we have a meeting tomorrow. The decision will be made tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll know. We should have somebody on there, okay? We have the interview committee, Diane.
Yep, it's going to remain the same as it was last year, the last 4 or 5 years. Brenda Beanie is in charge, Pam Denny, Pat Marjani, and myself.
Resolution and documents, who do we have on that?
The three of us, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Actually, there's more than 3 of us, and I actually,
You got yourself, you got Pam, and you got Bob McCosy.
yeah, I
Who
got
are the
John
others?
McGee, Bob McCosy, Kim Ryan, Pam Kabinski, Randy Leap, Nil Sariso, excuse me, Carol Grube, and Brenda Beanie.
Okay, I have a different, in all due respect, Diane, I have a different thing from last year, last year's was the resolution documents was Ron Longo, Gene Ferretti, and Kay Millard. Not sure they're off. But it was Carol Grube, John McGee, Stephanie D'Agostino, and Brenda Benny. I think the resolution says 7 members only, I believe.
That can't be from last year.
No, well, the last updated
The
copy.
last updated copy it was.
Yeah, year 21 was Diane McIntyre, Pam Kabansky, and Kim Ryan.
Only because I heard Kay's name and I was like.
Well, no, that has not been changed to the best of my knowledge
Okay.
on the
And that,
rules and regulations thing, you know.
actually, that was my mistake. When I came on the board, I wasn't aware that I was supposed to keep the same committee.
Okay.
So I apologize to everybody that was involved, and I have chosen people and asked people who are both full-time residents and part-time residents.
Okay, so there's 6 members and 1 alternate, correct? Or how many people we have on there?
There are 8,
Okay.
so,
The resolution says there's only be 6.
so I'll change it to 8.
Oh, you can't change it to 8, you have to do a resolution.
Change the resolution. Can't change.
That's what I'm saying, I'll change the resolution. I think we need, rules and regulations are, the rules and regulations is such an important issue, and we talk about it at every meeting. I think we need to have a cross-section of people that can give their input in the rules and regulations that they live by.
So let me ask you something.
Cost a quarter.
Right now, you got yourself, Pam, and Bob on there. You got Brenda Benny,
Yes,
you got John McGee.
yes,
Okay, you got Carol Grube.
yes.
You still got Stephanie D'Agostino.
No, you actually said to me you didn't think she was, so she's still interested?
No,
I
yeah,
will-
she was still, she told me she still wanted to be on it, so.
Okay, I will
The
call her.
last time that I got a hold of all these people, and I think Bob called them too, if I'm not mistaken, all 4 of them said that they wanted to be on it. So.
And
I'm
I guess
just
my question is, why would you and Bob call those folks? Why wouldn't you ask me to do that as a chairperson?
Well, I don't want to get in an argument on that.
Well,
In the
I'm not
resolution, it
arguing,
doesn't
I'm
say
just
who's the
asking.
chairperson on it. We're equally, me, you, and Pam are directors, so we collectively should make the decisions. There is no co-chairperson, no chairperson on the Rules and Regulations Committee. There is none.
There's none.
Now, I'm not degrading that. We should talk together and figure out what we're going to do. We ran into a problem with, a few weeks ago, where somebody was on the committee and they took off the committee and it got a hell of a loose, so they said you keep the same people on that committee, right, Pam? That's why we took it here on who's on it. Because I don't really care how many people or who's on it, but if you want to change the resolution, you're going to have to go through a whole new resolution thing. But as of right now, my theory is it's that it's the ones I just mentioned. Because I got the, let's see.
You got Brenda, John, Carol, and
Yeah, John
Stephanie.
McGee, Stephanie, Brenda, Carol Grube. And if you're talking about people being here and not being here, you know, you got Carol Grube and you got Brenda Bennier are full-timers, I believe. And we can't get into a debate, I don't think, about if you're a full-timer or a part-timer or snowbird or whatever you want to call them. We're all equal to each other.
Yeah, we are.
We are, and we're getting into a thing, and I hate to see this, that splitting there, you're older people, you're newer people, it can't be that way. We're all together, we all work together. But my understanding was I went through this thing a couple of weeks ago, and I was a little upset with what happened on the thing, and I said, okay, that's fine. But now we're trying to change it around differently than what the decision was made 2 weeks ago on somebody else. We have to be consistent on what we do. And as far as I was concerned, those are the people that are on it. Carol, no offense to anybody else, but Carol, John, Stephanie, and Brenda, and the three of us were on the Rules and Regulations Committee. That's what was I understood.
You know what? I'm going to need to think about this before I make any comments, and
Okay,
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I would just want to say one thing. One reason why I asked about these people, I wanted to make sure that they were still on it and wanted to be on it, okay? Because of the problem that we ran into with the annual owners meeting, okay? I don't want to run into the same problem again. I took care of that issue. It's gone, okay? This is going to be the same type of an issue if we continue down that path.
Okay, and as I said, I'd like to think about this and discuss it with you. Okay?
But like what we have to discuss is the three directors, not just, you know, it's
Right.
the three directors on this thing. I know you were away on vacation. We didn't, that's why we waited till you come back to see what was going on that.
Not only another thing, I mean, I never said that about Stephanie because I thought she still wanted to be on it.
Yes, you.
But, that being said, I mean, if those people were supposed to be on it, it's not my job to contact them anyway,
Right,
okay?
right.
I
It's
just
my-
contacted them because I don't want to run into the same issue that I ran into with
Okay,
the other one.
and I didn't know that's why you contacted, that's why I asked the question. Okay?
Yep.
And I
Okay,
guess,
we'll wait on it. Let me know.
Okay.
Let's try to get it done before
yes,
the meeting so we can vote on it, but, okay, mixed golf, I think that's you, Diane?
Yes, it is.
Co-chairs, go ahead.
I'm the liaison, that's all I am, is the liaison to that committee.
We got Mark and Bill Putnam, Rich.
Well,
Gilman.
they are the presidents, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They all remain the same.
Hearing committee, that's you, Bob?
Yeah, we're all set on a hearing
Everybody's all
committee. I
set?
think we voted on the last meeting, and I'll report on a hearing fine that we had at the meeting.
Okay, so you got Bob, Jim Mitchell, Manny Rios, Carol Grube, Larry Wicklander, and Chuck Parks.
Correct.
Okay. Landscape, that's you, Pam?
It's the same.
Okay, I go, if nothing's changed in there. And I'll give you this thing, Chris. Defining, that's just you, Bob, and the communications committee.
Yeah, well, I got a question on the defining committee, okay? On the defining committee, the last defining committee that I had from last year was Tom Andrews, Diane McIntyre, Kim Ryan, and Chris Malapidi. Okay, that's the defining committee. And Diane, I took your spot on that, correct?
On the finding committee?
Defining committee.
Defining.
I thought we decided that only one board member needed, not we, you guys decided you only need one board member to do it,
It's a little more intense than we thought.
than you thought.
I mean, I have better records than that book back there.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem with it, but I just don't want to throw somebody, I don't want to throw Tom Andrews, Kim Ryan, and Chris Malapidi off this thing if they're on that thing, because I can't find a resolution created for that.
Because again, I believe it was supposed to be just a one-year thing.
Oh, okay.
That did not get done.
Okay.
Tom Andrews and Kim were on it as board members, so they're not board members anymore.
Okay.
So it could, you can
Okay.
ask whoever, I mean, I'll stay on it with you, but you need maybe 2 other board members to do it then also.
Okay.
If you think you need that.
Well, Ron would,
If you can't find anybody, I'll do it.
yeah, it's not a thing, I think a lot of stuff is there, it's just like Tom Andrews, I guess, the one that came up with that idea, which is a very good idea, to have that defining committee. Okay, I didn't know, I was looking for a resolution on it, I couldn't find one.
There wasn't.
But
I
I
don't
think that,
believe there was one made.
I think at one of the meetings, Diane, you said that you didn't want it, correct, and I took it over, is that correct?
Well, didn't I just hear you need 3 board members?
No, I didn't know that. No, you don't. I guess you don't need them. I didn't know, I didn't understand it because I didn't see a resolution on it. Now I understand why there was not a resolution on it. It's only a one-shot deal to do the defining committee. I didn't understand that. Now I understand it, which I have no problem doing that. And I remember at one of the meetings there, you said that you didn't want to do it, so I took it over. Correct?
Fine.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
Yes, it's, yeah.
Okay.
Communications committee hasn't changed, you're good with that?
Yeah, I'm still good with, except that it has changed, let's see, it's Chris Davis is the chairperson,
Yes,
Kim
I got
Ryan.
Chris Davis is the chair, Peggy O'Keefe,
Peggy
Holly
O'Keefe.
Snyder, Kim Ryan, Bill McIntyre, and Carla Smith.
Now, Bill McIntyre just recently resigned from that.
Okay.
Did you say you had that Carla Smith? I didn't know if we had her yet.
Yeah.
I got it down here, yes, yeah. So do we need 7 people on that, Chris?
No, that
Okay.
resolution was
Okay.
actually 6, and
Okay.
keep one spot open for like an invited guest. Like, let's say somebody comes in that has knowledge in websites, and then the committee could ask them to sit in on a certain amount of meetings for their expertise.
Diane, who was the other person beside Randy that you wanted to put on there? Do you remember?
Nelsa?
Nielsa? Okay. Somebody want to, anybody else got anything? No? Anybody on the board got anything? No? Okay. Somebody make a motion to
I
Make a
move-
motion
adjourn the meeting.
Go ahead.
that we end this meeting.
I second.